Welcome. Over the Top Sports Podcast. It's your boy HD here with the crew. We're gonna start out with Big B. Big B. Bear, how you doing, buddy?
What's happening?
I can't call everything good. G May Playmaker. G, what's going on your way?
Not much, man. I'm like Tony the Tiger.
Yeah, but we ain't gonna say the rest for copyright issues. We don't want no copyright infringement. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. Q, what's going on, man? What's going on with you?
Hey, Lakers in the playoffs. A Philadelphia man owns the Washington Commanders. Life is good.
Speaking of the Commanders, big RJ, what's going on, man? It was a beautiful day for you in the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's all good. We're gonna see though, man. They said some wild stuff about Josh Harris. Pretty interesting, man. So we're gonna see. Hopefully it'll be a good transition. I don't want to be pessimistic.
I mean, Washington making moves, man. They got Airbnb, got some ownership changes, so we'll see what they do. But it is the NBA playoffs, guys. We had to play in games. We're gonna go through them and do how we do it over the top. The first game we're gonna go through play in was the Hawks and the Heat. Any thoughts on the game, man? Who gonna start out with B? What you think about the Hawks and the Heat? Any thoughts?
Who cares?
Okay, moving right on.
Oh, you know what? That reminds me.
I'm just tripping, man. The Hawks could be a good team, but it's gonna be interesting to see what happens when that season over with. And because there's a lot of it's some things going on in that organization. It's gonna be real interesting to see. As far as the play, as far as like I'm not a huge Trey fan nor a Jimmy Butler fan, but I felt like they let Miami creep back in when they should have kept them. They should have blew them out pretty good. But that's what they do. Miami creep back in. They're gonna get their way back in. So they're gonna creep their way.
Yeah. I mean, do you think Trey a Batman or is he a high price Robin? He's a high end Robin. What do you put Trey at? We go RJ. Where you put Trey at? Is he a Batman? Is he a team leader?
It's hard to say, man. Teams that he's played on, the teams he's played on have been talented, but they don't have the second score. Like a true, like the second scorer that I've seen. Like you got a rebounder, post player, like quasi post player in the center. I can't think of what the kid's name is. But
John
outside
Collins.
not Collins. It's the other kid. It's the other kid that used to be the center in Houston. Capella. That's what Clint Capella. But outside of Capella, John is the only one that can really score on that team. And it's a concern when you start looking for buckets at night. Like you looking for a bucket in the NBA, and Trey can do it. He's a smaller guard. But outside of him, I don't see it on the team. And I think that's kind of why he wants out of Atlanta.
Well, they got to go against who they got, and they got
the Celtics.
They got the Celtics. What do you think about Trey Quinn? Is he a bona fide all-star? Or is he just what would you do with Atlanta? Is he do you keep him? Do you trade him? What you do with him?
What would be funny, considering Zion may be traded. Imagine Zion is traded to Atlanta with Trae Young. That gives him an actual second shooter or a second scorer, even a top scorer, depending on the night. But Trae Young, he always averages around 25 and 10, somewhere like that. That's top score. That's all-star numbers, no matter what. So yeah, he's gonna be an all-star.
Yeah,
and that's
I don't know, man. I think it'll be all-star, but we're gonna leave. We're gonna move on. One more question this game and one more this matchup, and I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm going with you at this week, Gary. Do you blow up the Heat?
I think you got to consider it when Lowry is your leading scorer in a playoff game. You got to think about what you're doing. You got to think about what you're doing and where you're going.
Valid point.
When buckets, I like buckets, but he's not a person that's going to give you 40 points a night, 30 points a night. He's not a scorer like that. He can do it, but that's not his bag. He's more of a complete player. He wants to play defense. He wants to play offense. He wants to contribute to the whole aspect of the team. I think you got to look at Bam and say, sir, when you going to join the team? Because Bam is supposed to be a dominant player, but when I watch him, I'm like, where you at? You're
so
not
passive.
dominating defense. You're not dominating offense. You're not dominating the boards. What you doing?
Bam getting that Julius Randle effect. Good in
Playmaker,
regular season.
playmaker, man. The one thing that's really kind of rough about watching him play, he's a dominant guy, but he's asked to play totally out of position. It's like Rodman guarding a lot of those bigs back in the 80s. Bam is like 6'8". I think 6'8" maxed out. But he guarding guys 3-4 inches taller than him, and they carrying maybe a little bit more weight than him. Now, he a warrior, but I don't think he physically, night in, night out, like an Embiid or something like that, it's lights out. Joker, it's lights out. He gonna fight him. He gonna give him what he can.
At a 4? So did you move him at a 4 and go get another big man?
Nah, he's not.
Like
He's not talented offensive. He's not talented offensive.
He can make those baseline jump shots like Oaken. He's like to me, no disrespect to him. He's a high-end Oakley Mason type cat. You know what I'm saying? To me, if I'm looking at him, he gonna get you 20 every now and again.
Right.
But his game is rebounding and defense. But he can't handle the ball. So I say it's like a hybrid. He's to me.
Yeah.
You know what everybody's saying, right?
What's that?
You know it when it comes to Bam, everybody's saying the same thing. Bam is basically he's a throwback. And because of the way the game is played, like if you put him in a system where he can play with his back to the basket, you dump him the ball, then you'll see his production numbers go up higher and whatnot. That's his style. That's the way he want to play.
He like Chris Bosh.
Be aggressive.
But he
like
don't
a
have a
Bosh
good
type.
jumper though. Huh? Like a Bosh. Well, Bosh try to create a jumper at the end, but he got to work on the jumper end of it.
The only reason why it's hard for me to accept that is if you catching Hades on one end, you got to come back and make somebody else catch Hades on the other end. So if he's undersized for a center and he's getting punished and getting out rebound on the defensive side of the end, when it comes to the offense, hey, he's supposed to be more athletic than some of these big time centers. He can't get around them. He can't, I don't know. I don't think you just take it. I don't think you just bend over and let teams just run through you night in, night out. When you're supposed to be the second part of the two-headed monster down there.
Well, I think everything have an expiration date, and I think, and I think
that's a good statement. I like that. And you know what? I'm a Bam. I like Bam. Like dude that used to work with me, he had a really tight connection to a couple of kids in the AAU circuit, and Bam was one of his kids. And he champions Bam at every chance he get. You know what I'm saying?
No, I like Bam. I just think Miami got to blow that up. I think they even the bubble they had a good run with their squad. I think the squad done ran this tenure. Let's move on. Let's go to the what's up? What I missed?
I just want to say one more thing about Bam. I think that system is not a good system for him. I think if you put him in a place like the Celtics or you put him in a place like the Clippers, I think he'll have a better. You'll see a different type of Bam. I think what they have, their expectations of him at the Heat is too great. And I think you can throw a lot of the blame on Bam, but the Robin, the guy who's supposed to be one of the best 3-point shooters, who's one of the best 3-point shooters to being lost on the bench. I mean, they got a lot of issues that they need to kind of work
Come
out
on.
and figure
That's
out what they want to
Tyler Hero, right?
do.
No,
And we
Duncan
also got to
Robinson.
remember. You also got to remember, you know, you Spoelstra, he's the coach, but you're still in the Pat Riley system. And even, you know, with Hank saying blowing it up, Pat Riley not going to take old boy being his point guard and being that heavy. So there's some changes going to happen in Miami.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. We got the Lakers and the Timberwolves. Hey, the Lakers won it, man. I mean, the Lakers in. We gonna see.
Come to me. Come to me.
Okay, you. You got it.
Because I watched this. I watched whole game, buzzer to buzzer.
You got it. Go ahead.
So first off, our head coach is awful. There's no reason why we're letting. Again, I said it a few weeks ago. There's no reason we're letting the best 3-point shooting big of all time, just letting him shoot. He was almost perfect in that. And for the first 3 quarters, he was almost perfect. There's no reason we're letting that happen. Now, what we did do well, the guy we traded for from the Timberwolves, Jared Vanderbilt, he had Anthony Edwards in a chokehold that whole night. Anthony Edwards ended up like 9 points. Anthony Edwards couldn't do nothing. And then when we didn't make the comeback, Jesus Christ, Anthony Davis, what are you doing fouling a 3-point shooter? First off, that whole possession. And why is Anthony Davis sitting in the paint when you know they're down 3? They're going for a 3. Why are you sitting in the paint? So then he has to close out on Mike Conley. And shout out to Mike Conley, because I don't know many players who would have hit all 3 in that situation.
Pressure.
And so Mike Conley, again, probably the most underrated point guard the league has ever seen. Just only because he plays in the West. You know, Mike Conley would have all-star. Mike Conley would have a few all-stars.
Well,
if he wasn't behind Curry. Because you know, there's normally in the West, it was always Curry, Westbrook, and Dame. So Conley would always get left out. Conley would have 4 or 5 MVP, 4 or 5 all-stars.
I don't know if we want to put him. I don't know. We put him in that top echelon, but
I said underrated. I never said.
Well, he's underrated. Well, but
when you think underrated, it's Mike Conley, because Mike Conley's never gotten what he deserved.
Okay.
Mike Conley was the key force in Memphis.
First of all,
key point in Utah.
Right.
Now as a key point, he had the biggest, probably the 3 biggest free throws ever.
Though.
He doesn't.
Mike Conley, we respect Mike Conley.
I don't think he gets enough respect.
Go ahead, baby.
I would ask the question.
The 4th best.
That's what I would ask you. Like, who is he? If you sitting there saying who is he better than, I really want to. It's not better than Chris Paul. Not better than Curry.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's what I didn't. I said underrated. I specifically said he's underneath. I know he's underneath all of them, but he's not a bad point guard. The problem is he's underneath generational point guards.
What do you think about that game, B? Lakers, Timberwolves. What's your thoughts?
You know, I bought the Lakers and I'm riding with them, but I'll feel more comfortable if they just finish a game without going through all the trauma that they go through for no reason at all.
That game shouldn't have went to overtime.
They need to learn how to finish completely. I don't know if Schroeder's gonna show up, then he's gonna be a problem for everybody. That's gonna be a problem and whatnot. They look good. I don't think Memphis can say what they want to say, but Memphis don't want to play the Lakers.
So my thing is this, and me and I spoke with the playmaker a couple times throughout the week off the record, and my synopsis is this: LA is good, but they need a third score. You're gonna need a charging station by the bench for the playoff run, because LeBron probably gonna wear his behind out. You're gonna pretty much run out of stamina for the playoff run. So
you best believe this. He's not gonna let Memphis beat him.
No. I'm not saying not let him beat. I'm thinking run out of gas. I think he's gonna flat out run out of gas. I think the route he's going right now, the space he's going right now, 45 minutes, 10 boards, 30 points. I mean, granted, overtime, but I think he's gonna run out of gas.
Davis, another problem.
He's fine, huh?
Another problem. I know we say, Dad, I'll give you credit for this. Anthony Davis, healthy, is the leading force of our team. The problem is when you sit Anthony Davis for as long as our coach did, while Karl-Anthony Towns is just killing us, that's a problem.
But you gotta rest him though. That's the thing. That's the thing. LA. That's the problem. LA having.
If you want to rest him, cool, but bring a big on the floor.
You gotta find a way to.
You don't have one.
Find a way to.
Mo, we have two bigs that are buried in our bench.
What do you think? I mean, go ahead, G. I mean, but I think you got to find a way to rest them.
Well, first, I'm giving props to the Lakers. It was a good game. I watched it from beginning to end. They won the game, But let's sit back and really analyze that game. At periods of the game, I would argue that Cat was the best player on the floor.
He was.
At periods of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I would also argue that if the Minnesota would have had Gobert, if they would have had that wing defender that broke his hand out of frustration, and that's a whole different type of issue I think we could talk about later. But I don't know if the Lakers are sitting pretty if Gobert and the other guy would have been there. I mean, Cat got into foul trouble, what Cat normally does in high pressure games, and they didn't have anybody to go back to back Cat up. Similar to what you were saying with AD. When AD went out, you had a drop off. If you would have had Gobert out there, you would have had a body that was able to rebound, to defend. You wouldn't have got much offense, but I think you would have had. And it was a tight game. It was really anybody's game. And then I also got to talk a little bit about Ant-Man. I thought after last year's performance, Ant-Man was going to be one of the leading forces in the league to come. And I was a little disappointed. Like you said, he had an off night. We're going to see what happens Friday, but he had an off night.
Is he a Batman or is he a high-priced Robin?
He's a Batman. He's a Batman. The problem is Jared Vanderbilt is one of the best on-ball defenders in the league, and he was sick the whole night.
So to me, to be a Batman, and I talked about this before, you have to dominate in at least two areas of the game, and either that's scoring and rebounds, scoring, assists, scoring and defense, scoring in something. I think. In today's NBA, anybody, and we can see throughout the league, anybody can score 30 or 40 points on any given night. You got the guy in Brooklyn coming off the bench. He did it like 3 or 4 times in a row. So scoring is not what, in my opinion, makes you a dominant player. I think you got to be able to score and do something else. And when Anthony Edwards got shut down offensively with scoring, I was looking for him to say, okay, it's an off night with me shooting. I'm not getting it off. How can I put my fingerprints on this game and help my team win? And I didn't see that.
What's the problem? Because he's a good defender when he wants to be.
But he didn't show up. D'Angelo Russell didn't show up. Did what happened to D'Angelo? Was he hurt? I mean, points.
I think that was just an off night. I think that was just an off night from him.
I told y'all before the playoffs, if Russell play, he's a missing ingredient. He's a more consistent shooter than anybody that they have on their team. If he plays, if he plays concretely anywhere near where he's supposed to be and where his talent level is, it'll be hard to beat the Lakers.
So we got.
That's just my opinion. That's my opinion. But the bad thing about it is they signing Tristan Kardashian to really fill out a roster because you don't have any bigs. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And DeMarcus Cousins would be perfect, but he's just a lunchbox.
He in Puerto Rico.
That Bama lunchbox. He a slam lunchbox. He gonna say some crazy stuff and do crazy stuff.
He in Puerto Rico.
He's the poster child for being done wrong by the league, but everybody don't want to deal with him because he speaks his mind.
That's right.
Come on, Bear. Some stuff he do be out of pocket.
He said something recently. He said something recently that I was like, "What are you talking about?"
He be totally out of pocket.
But he'll walk in double though.
He's the prime example of he got that money, he opened his mouth, and I agree with you. Some things he say just out there, but that's what has happened to him. He had the nerve
to say a dude at his size with a blown Achilles is the third best center. So you saying you in the league category of Joker and Embiid? Man, come on, fool! You ain't never been that good. Stop.
Cousins?
Well, wait a minute.
Yeah, he's never been that good.
Cousins first getting in the league. Cousins was a beast. Now
I think there was a season. Listen, what I'm saying to you. Where he was the best center in the league for like a season or two.
He's never at the top of his game as good as those guys that I just mentioned. He's talented.
Yeah.
You know who he reminds me of? Derek Coleman. The most skilled big man you could ever find. But never in the NBA was completely elite like he could be in college. And that's how I think about Roscoe. Roscoe's the same way.
Well, I mean,
think about what I'm saying.
Coleman would come along and give you that 35 to 15, and then you see him again, he give you 15 and 8. So
Marcus Cousins' career is 19 and 10 as a career average, 19, 10, and 3. That's bad.
Solid. That's solid.
Ain't bad.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
You have to factor in his season where he was injured and that cuts him down.
Do stats win games?
What consistency do?
Stats don't win games. He's not a listen, bro. He's not a winning basketball player.
When he was putting up 30.
I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a question.
How many rings Cousins got?
0.
How many rings?
Yeah.
Nah, he got 0.
He got 0?
I think he was cut from that Golden State Warriors team.
Yeah, it was cut from the Golden State Warriors team.
And I think on the Lakers when he was on the Lakers, I think he didn't play in a bubble, so I think he didn't get that one either.
Okay. I know he was out there with one or two of them squads running. I thought he grabbed them one. I do apologize.
So unless they give him 2 of those off technicality for playing most of the season, then it's none.
We don't get no technicality. There's a fancy trophy. What's wrong, Naz? We wielded up there, buddy.
I mean, I know Cousins in his later years was not a dominant force. I give you that all day. His stint with the Lakers, his stint with Golden State, he wasn't dominant. But in his earlier part of his career, this man was almost a 20-20 type guy. Easy.
He was.
He's doing that before halftime.
In Sacramento and in New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean, this man was. I mean, I know
Yeah.
stats don't win games, but rebounds and points do. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't
I'm
know
gonna
why
ask you a
y'all give
question.
that man
So,
a
so
hard
I'm
time.
gonna ask you a question. At the height of their talent, would you take Dennis Rodman or DeMarcus Cousins? If you had a team and you wanted to win a championship, would you take Dennis Rodman or DeMarcus Cousins?
I'm taking
Cousins?
DeMarcus Cousins.
You know what?
Because Dennis
Give me
Rodman
How
ain't
about
gonna
this?
put
How
him
about
in
this?
the hole.
Give me how about this? Okay, how about this? I got this. Dennis Rodman will give you what 20 rebounds,
Yeah.
but he'll only give you 5 points.
Yeah.
DeMarcus Cousins will give you 20 and then
What
give
did
you 10
what did
rebounds.
Pat Riley say?
Cousins.
What Pat Riley say? No rebound, no rings. And then I need you to play, and I need you to play. And here's the thing that people fail to realize: when you take Rodman and you put him on a Magic, or you put him on a Bird, or you put him on these elite scores and you slow them down, you've taken away their best weapon. But then you've also, this guy got fresh legs because he's gonna rebound. He's not looking to take a whole bunch of jump shots. Marcus Cousins want the ball in the post, on the wing, shooting a whole bunch of jump shots, but then don't run the floor.
Well, so
27
wait a
and
minute,
10 is his best season. He had a couple of 24.
It's not
that's
winning basketball. Bro, it's not, you gotta think, man.
First off,
Football,
the Sacramento
you know
Kings
what? You
weren't
know
winning
what? I'm gonna
basketball.
ask y'all a question. I'm gonna shift sports real quick. Dan Marino's numbers for years was better than anybody else's. When he went to the Super Bowl as a rookie, everybody said he would be back. Did he ever make it back? No. His coach coached to what his strength was, right? He does not play winning football. Joe Montana is maybe, if you had to put like 1 to 10, Joe Montana is probably about an 8. It's his football IQ that makes him at an 8. But Joe Montana won 4 championships. You know why? Because he played winning football.
Well, wait a minute. Now, if I was 20, you could sell me on that. But I was watching these games, and San Francisco had a squad. They had running backs, they had defense, they had a squad. Dan Marino didn't have nothing.
Check me out. Check me out.
Sanford also had the GOAT. He out there, that guy, what that guy named Rice.
Jerry
Hey,
Rice.
check me out. Do y'all remember?
And a young T.O.
Do y'all remember? Nah, T.O. didn't play with Joe.
Nah, T.O. didn't play with that squad. But yeah,
Do y'all remember a guy by the name of Mark Clayton, Mark Duper, Mark's brothers? Do you remember those guys?
Yeah.
Moving forward, A.J. Dewey. People that were a part of that defense that they called like the second generation of the no-name defense. They had talent on that team. Actually, Don Shula was a running coach.
Yeah, but
so coaches coach what their players do best.
Who was Dan Marino's running back? And who was Joe Montana's running back?
Roger Craig for Joe Montana. Dan Marino, man, he had a couple, man.
Who was Dan Marino's safety? I know running line play safety for San Fran. Who was playing defense over there for Miami?
let me pull up some of them defenses.
Who playing?
Because you got
up the stats. You work on that, bro. We're gonna keep pushing a little bit.
No. And to finish conversation, can you name anybody on the Kings team besides a rookie Mr. Irrelevant Isaiah Thomas that played with DeMarcus Cousins on the Kings?
Oh, not when Cousins was playing. I don't know who.
The only person I know there is Mr. Irrelevant Isaiah Thomas before he became an MVP candidate.
All right. Well, okay. Let's keep up with that. We as we're looking at those stats, we're gonna keep it pushing. We talk about the Bulls. The Bulls rafters. Is there anything talk about there? Do the Bulls got life after this run? Or they done? Come on, Bell. You got to discuss it. Look on your face, boy. Let somebody hit you with the rat now.
I
Bulls
think the Bulls got one more run in them. They got one more run. I'm disappointed, man, because I like DeRozan. I thought Levine was gonna finally come around.
That was a quiet 20 from DeRozan, wasn't it? They were too quiet for me.
Well, he was having a bad game.
DeRozan's not flashy.
Quiet 20.
DeRozan's the best, one of the best mid-range shooters in the game, maybe behind Chris Paul. So he's not flat, and he's aging.
You should like throwing out names, man. You should like throwing out.
I said today. Did I not say today? Did I not say in today's game?
Yeah, you did. But I didn't mess with the kid. But what do you say?
So he's not athletic anymore. So he's gonna get quiet games because he's not a 3-point shooter. So all his shots gonna mid-range and layups.
Okay. Do you think the Bulls make it out the next round?
They got play the Miami Heat in Miami.
I think they beat Miami.
Even if they do, then they play the. Even if they do, then they play the Bucks, which.
Which that's a
honestly,
good question.
Which honestly, I think the Bucks. I would say this: the Bucks would rather face the Bulls than Miami.
Yeah. So let's move on. Ain't nothing to see. That's about this Thunder Pelicans matchup.
Wait a minute. You're not going to talk about Toronto?
I'm sorry. You make your free throws, you win the game. But whatever.
18 missed free throws.
We talking about Toronto. You miss 18 free throws. You can't win a game is 18 free throws.
Shout out DeRozan's daughter.
What?
I said shout out DeRozan's daughter.
Toronto got a bunch of Robins. They need a leader. They need a savior there. They got a good squad, but they just don't have somebody that can be that guy.
I'll say this:
if they have somebody go up there, I think the team itself is a great team. I think they're just missing a Batman to come and lead them to victory.
Give Scotty Barnes 2 more years.
You need discipline. Look at the discipline.
Give Scotty Barnes 2 more years.
Man, which level have you coached where you miss 18 free throws and win a basketball game?
Say that again.
And what league can you coach and miss 18 free throws and win a basketball game?
The league where you play yourself. It's only your team on the court. You can't. That's a mental thing. 18 free throws. 18.
Yeah.
That's just.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain that. I don't.
You can't.
But when I was watching the game, something just kept telling me Toronto was going to give out the gas, and Toronto gave out the gas.
Yeah.
The Bulls got a bad squad. They're not a good looking squad, but they're not a bad squad.
Right. So we said we think Bulls got one more run. They done. Well, we talking about the Thunder Pelicans matchup. What any thoughts on that? Anything to stand out? Besides CJ McCullough is not a Batman either. CJ McCullough, who we thought he was. If he show up and play, he's a beast. If he don't show up and play, this is what you get.
Well, to be honest, man, I think I really feel like CJ is beginning to start look outside the doors, because at the end of the day, they got a good squad. You look at him, look at Ingram, and then and he's on both of them on the floor. Ingram and McCollum, they both on the floor. But then Zion don't want to be on the floor at the end of the day, and that would be a nice. Oh, that'd be nice. But at the end of the day, I just feel like
when you say you don't want to play, do that question your competitive spirit when you say I just don't want to play? Do that question your man? Who does that?
It's gotta happen.
Huh?
And I didn't play football, so I've never been in a football locker room, but I know as far as basketball. And I remember, on a couple of occasions when we were playing some really good teams, I tell my team, if y'all gonna be a punk, If y'all gonna be a bunch of girls, bunch of pussies, excuse me, y'all can stay in the locker room. I go out here and play by myself at the end of the day. And that, to me, Ingram and CJ, they got to check. They got to check Zion. They really got to check him.
He the face of the
Listen.
franchise.
Man, they said he not cleared, man. That's what they said. They said essentially what's going on with him is he technically not cleared by the staff. Last year it was a situation where he wanted to play at the end of the year, but they wouldn't afford him the opportunity to play. This year, I don't think it's a weight issue. I think it's more the fact that that media clip where they talking about he said he doesn't feel right. Whoever released that information was horrible. That was disgusting. You know, if you want that kid to be in the fold. So does it make sense to me? No. Is he looking an awful lot like our guy? I can't think of what name is. God, Ben Simmons. Yeah, a guy that's making a lot of money without.
If you're not gonna play, get off the floor doing you jumping from the free throw line, you doing 360 dunks.
That's
I'm
on to bet like Ron said, I'm on to bet that was him showing that he probably could have played, and then someone from the staff said, "Nah, you're not playing tonight," and
he's not clear.
Someone probably that was him clear. Saying that's probably him saying I feel good, and then someone saying, "Yeah, well, you're not playing," and Zion went out and did that, and then they threw him. Then someone threw him a question and threw him under the bus.
Now, the only thing about this situation is that it happened last year, and I remember I was like, man, they're in the playing game, they're fighting for their lives. You know, I remember talking to Hank. I was like, man, he's not available. Okay, but now you're in the exact same situation a year later, where they're fighting for their lives in the playing game, and he's not available. Now, I wonder, do you still keep investing in him?
They already invested, man. They already signed the contract.
And that's what I'm saying. So, you know, do you max out your cap, your money, for a team that is stuck and trying to get into the playing game?
But Gary, would you
watch the beginning of the year, if you watch the beginning of the year, I would tell you this right now: they were second in the Western Conference when he was playing.
They were first.
A good portion of the year, off and on, and after he left the floor, doo-dooville.
Yeah, I mean, he 27 points a night on the floor. What'd you do, Bell? You trade him, or you had to hold him for a while? What'd you do with him?
I mean, he's too valuable just to trade like that. You know, I mean, you got to hold him because there's too much potential there. But
One more year?
Definitely. And if not a year, at least to the All-Star break, at least to the trade deadline, you give him. I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. He gonna have to drop without a significant amount of weight, and I really kind of feel like dropping the weight is not the problem. I think it's the amount of weight that they want him to drop, because Zion used to playing heavy. He used to playing at a certain size. So right now, you know, he feel like some of his effectiveness, some of his explosion is gone, or however you want to put it. But at all costs, he got to get back on the floor.
I don't know. I think I give him one more year. But then, I mean, it's up to him, because after that, if he can't play next year, you ain't gonna be able to trade him, because ain't nobody gonna want to deal with it. But look at this Thunder team, man. They up and coming.
I was about to say, let's talk about the Thunder.
Look at this Thunder team. What's your Giddy? No, Josh, Giddy your stud. Gilgeous Alexander your stud, ain't he?
Well, how about Shy is the flashy one of the two, but you could argue that Josh Giddey may be better fundamentally, because you can Josh Giddey doesn't do anything flashy at all. He almost plays like at a slower Luka Doncic pace, and he'll give you 30. He'll give you 30 doing the most simple moves, like he did last night. He doesn't do anything flashy. Whereas Shy, he does a lot of he's a lot of flash to him. And then out of all that, you got to remember they have a 7-foot unicorn that got injured at the beginning of the season and ain't touched the floor yet.
Okay, we'll see. Well, if he ain't touched up beginning of the season, he's not gonna be no effect during the playoffs. The playoffs, you got to have a battle test. You got to be ready.
It's a watch now.
You got to be ready for the playoffs.
Oh, it's a watch. It's a watch for the playoffs. They too young for the playoffs. That's why I'm looking for it next year. This year they still too young.
All right, so tomorrow, with the next playing game, we through with that run. We got the Bulls and the Heat. Everybody going to who got the Bulls? Who got the Heat? Who you got, Ron?
You're muted. You're muted.
Not a fan of either one of the teams.
All right. Anybody? I'm gonna say. I said earlier the Bulls. I'm gonna go with Levine. I think the Heat done past the expiration date. We got the Thunder and Timberwolves. So are we staying with? Are we staying with Minnesota? Or are we going with the young squad?
Is Gobert playing? If Gobert plays, that makes a big difference.
Yeah, I think he coming back that game.
Actually, you know what? Now I think about it, because they're still missing McDaniels, and so they basically got. And if Ant has another off game, which, you know, give me Timberwolves. I think Ant's gonna come back with I think Anthony Edwards gonna come back with a vengeance, because he saw that he's seeing everything. Anthony Edwards on social media a lot. He's seeing everyone talking about the first game where that Lakers game. He's like, you know what? I think y'all forgot who I am.
See, that bothers me on social media. I need you working out. But we're gonna go. I'm gonna go Minnesota. Anybody else? Any other thoughts?
Yeah, right. I'm gonna go with Minnesota too, because I think Cat showed me something against the Lakers, and if Cat comes and plays dominant like he did against the Lakers, then I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with
for a full 4 quarters.
Hey man, Cat, man, let me tell you something. Cat is like DeMarcus Cousins without the personality.
Hey, you gonna get off my man DeMarcus Cousins, man?
He's a hell of a listen. Hey, you know what? Let me tell you something. Hold on. Let me tell you something. I love Cousins. I'm gonna keep it hot with you. That Kentucky team with him and John Wall on it. I'm not a Kentucky fan, but I love the way that they play. I was disgusted when he came into the NBA. Well, not disgusted when he came into the NBA, but some of the things that he did. Like, you know, the one thing people don't even really realize is that when you're on top, you can't constantly mishandle people. Because when you get to a place where your talent level is not as high as it once was, they're going to handle you. And that's all that people are doing. They're just handling him. And that's why he's not in the league. Does he deserve to be in the league? Yeah. Is he a top probably 5 to 7 center in the league? Yeah, he is. But he doesn't play winning basketball. And it's just like what Hank said earlier. If my shot not falling, right, I got to find a way to rebound. If my rebound is not hitting, I got to play defense. I got to do something to help the team win. I got to think the game. I don't think enough players really think the game anymore.
Now I think the players, they're going to.
You know who Cousin reminds me of? Go ahead, Ben.
No, I just wanted to ask, can I be honest about the whole Minnesota thing? I just don't understand what they got going on. I really don't. And what I mean by that is when I look at the roster, like I love Anthony Edwards. I really do. And then you look at the point guard we was talking about earlier. I think he brings that veteran leadership. And the other guy, the guy that the other fill-in, I don't know if he's the 2 or the 3. But when I get the Cat and Gobert, I just don't understand. I don't understand that. Meaning, Cat is actually playing 4. That to me is the dumbest thing.
Well, Gobert can't play 4. Gobert not gonna come out the paint to defend nobody.
Why trade for Gobert?
I agree. Yeah.
Place to trade.
Yeah, that was a horrible trade.
Yeah.
That was a
And
horrible
it
trade.
was,
You gave us
they-
4
they
number
knew-
ones.
They thought
You
they
have
needed a shot
4
blocker.
number
What happened?
ones and players. Nah.
yeah.
They thought they needed a shot blocker.
Wait a minute. So let's really take a look at this. Cat wants to play the 4. There's another big guy who wants to play the 4 too. Your boy, y'all all parading around AD. AD don't want to play the 5. He want to play the 4 too. So it's the same concept.
Yeah, but
You
I
got a
will
big
ask you this
man.
question. I will ask you this question. Everything about Cat is built to be a post player and to bang like that. AD
Yeah,
is
someone just went up though.
AD was a point guard who grew. Think about what I'm saying. Big Cat is a big man that wants to be a point guard and shoot on the wing.
Yeah.
It's a difference.
Man, listen,
And he don't like to
I'm
bang.
sorry, Ron. I don't mean to cut nobody off. Man, I got so mad watching that game the other night. Because, yeah, Cat did well. Or was it the game of the night? Anyway, one night, Cat was doing his thing or whatever. But then they put the camera on his dad and he jumping around and whatnot. Listen, man, somebody need to knock these dummies upside their head and say, yo, your son is a 5. He is a 5. He needs to go back to a 5. Yo, Rudy, you need to get out of town or come off the bench. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
That's dumb. What?
Yeah. Well, Rudy Gobert, with the blocks, man, he got a lot of props for that as far as being a real protector. But I think that kind of hurt him as
Rudy Gobert. Listen, what happened the other night was he had a flashback. He was always the kid that got picked on. He had a flashback and he wanted to punch that kid. He was being a bully.
He really didn't even hit him like that. It's bad that you lost a game and possibly a game check for something stupid like that.
And what was now the other guy got suspended too, so he was out for 1 game too, right?
Kyle Anderson did not get suspended.
No, he fractured his
Nah, he
hand.
didn't get suspended. Why would they suspend him?
He fractured his
A
hand.
lazy punch thrown at him?
No,
Yeah.
Kyle Anderson didn't get suspended. Kyle Anderson played because I was watching the game. Kyle Anderson sold them that fourth quarter.
Right. Okay. Well, we're gonna continue that kind of dudes gonna play our predictions that we can get out here tonight. So the first round we got the Knicks and the Brooklyn Nets and the Philly. I got Philly winning the series. Anybody different?
Philly in 5.
Okay.
Maybe a sweep.
Okay, we keep pushing. We also got the Celtics against the Hawks. Celtics 4-5.
Celtics in 6 actually.
6. You giving the Hawks 2 games?
I think
You giving the Hawks 2?
I was watching Trae Young's gonna will them for 1 game, and the Celtics our Celtics are not gonna play in another one.
I see. What you see? What you see, Nancy? You smiling over there? What you see?
Sweet.
Ron, what you see?
No call.
All right. I see maybe 4 or 5. I'm saying sweet 4 or 5.
Oh, that's a sweet, man.
The Knicks Cavaliers.
Cavs.
That's a sweep.
Cavs.
A sweet.
I think your boy gonna give him. I think he gonna give him. He's gonna give him probably about maybe 35, 40 in 1 game and will him to a win. I'm proud of Julius Randle because I didn't think he had those dimensions to his game.
You have more faith in Julius Randle winning the game than Trae Young winning the game?
Yeah.
I think one of
One
the
of
things
those
that
players
people,
made the East Conference Final.
I'm gonna ask you a question. Who made the Western Conference Finals last year with Luka?
Yeah,
And what did Luka do this year with a better skilled player, but not a team player?
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Just because the team has more skill doesn't mean they're compatible.
So Jalen
matters.
So Jalen is a monster then, right? Great honor. Like
Brunson?
Yeah, Jalen's a monster now.
Now, yeah,
Okay.
if you said Brunson would have willed him to win, I would agree with you.
But that's what I was saying. They were in the Western Conference Finals last year with that dude.
I'm going Knicks in 6.
I don't know if it'd be. I don't think the Knicks will win, but I think it'll be tough.
I'm going New York Knicks. Give a shout out to my boy Omar Cumberland, Strasburg, Pennsylvania. Hey, I'm going Knicks in 6. You heard it. Okay.
Hey, hold on. What you been drinking on?
Nothing, sir. Nothing, sir.
Oh, okay. So you been smoking crack. All right.
You
are inebriated.
Hey, listen. Hey, I called it. Anybody gonna stand with me? That's fine. Warriors, Kings. Who you got, B?
Oh, I got the Warriors. Kings ain't been in the playoffs for so long. They don't know what they're doing.
In the disputes.
I got him about 6.
I got. You know what?
I think it's gonna be a tough series.
You know what? Kings in 7.
I think Mike Brown understands that offense they run, and I think Mike is a hell of a defensive coach. And I think Fox is a bucket, and I think they're not scared of anybody. So
I forgot about Mike Brown coached over there.
Kings in 7, and they're gonna win all home games.
Yeah.
Playmaker, where you at?
He there.
He there.
Unmute yourself, guys.
I'm gonna say it. I think the Kings had a great run. I think my Mike Brown is a great coach, but it's a playoff basketball, buddy. This is cream of the crop. And like I said before, one thing about the Golden State Warriors, not only are they battle tested, they are champions. They gonna find a way to beat. They're gonna find a way to beat to win this series. It may not be a sweep, but maybe 6. What you say, playmaker? I'm gonna try you again. You didn't respond last time.
You're muted still.
You're muted.
I'm going with the Warriors. I think Nick 6, but you got this right.
What now? Okay. All right. So that's the NBA. That's the play-in game. I think that's all we got going on for the playoffs.
Wait, hold on. You did not talk about Memphis and LA. What'd you say?
So all right. Let's look at Memphis and LA. Who we got?
LA.
Well,
I had to go Clippers Suns too. I got a couple more, huh? Who you got?
It's the full series. I'm gonna say Memphis.
Okay. Who you got, Ned?
Lakers.
I'm going Lakers. So run going Memphis. We got another. We got Clippers.
Hold on, you didn't. Hold on, you did not use and skip me.
Who you got, Quinn? You got to put LeBron James in the back.
You're a Lakers fan.
I am a great Lakers fan.
Talk about it though. Who you got, Quinn?
If the Lakers play like how they played 2 nights ago, Memphis in 5. If they play like that again, because
Memphis in 5.
If they played last night, like 2 nights ago. If they play like that again and expect Ja to just disappear for a whole game, Lakers aren't winning. Lakers aren't doing anything with that. They need to.
Lakers
The
in
Lakers gonna get.
6.
They're gonna get out coached, and that's a
I
problem.
don't know about that. Hey,
Lakers gonna get out.
Lakers in 6, and but what they're gonna have to do is they're gonna have to swap the energy and the responsibility between AD and LeBron a little bit to give them boys some rest. But I
Here's
still
the deal.
think Lakers in 6.
My opinion with that Lakers and Memphis series, it's gonna come down to this. I feel like Dylan Brooks
Car coming.
has run his course. I really feel like that. He got into it with Draymond. LeBron don't care for him too much. I just can't see LeBron looking at him saying, "I'm gonna let this guy knock me out the playoff." So that's why I'm going.
Well, Dylan done call LeBron to the street. He said, he doesn't know he wants. So we'll see how he approached that.
man, he a sucker, fake tough guy.
That's what he is. Making all them, man, listen, don't get me on Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks,
That's the hardest thing about it, because man, them dudes, man, they grown men. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why people didn't really like. Oh, came up there with that HBCU. I'll smack you in your mouth. You start talking that craziness, and that's what he did to people. And he intimidated a lot of people. It was thuggery, but people understood it. That's the one thing that's missing about the game today. Like your power force were your enforcers. Got daggone Kevin Willis, Otis Thorpe, Xavier McDaniel. Man, them dudes is monsters.
They ain't feeling today's game, man. They're a little. They ain't say they light, but they don't. They're a little more. They're a little more mentally. They're a little more mentally diverse today. They got more other issues they're dealing with. But last but not least, Clippers Suns. I think everybody going Suns. I'm going Suns. Everybody going Clippers. Everybody want to step on the leg.
I think it's gonna be closer than what people think. It's that's a heck of a matchup. But I know one thing. Kyrie can't guard KD. I think he'll give him a harder game, two-way game than anybody else in the league.
Yeah. We're gonna have one. We went on kind of quick tonight with the sports, so I just want to have one roundtable question that I asked you guys earlier. Do you think, and I'm gonna rephrase it a little differently though. Let's see, can I get a better conversation out of it? Do you think sometimes it's hard to deal with success when you're not mentally or maturely ready to deal with life, as we seeing with some of the young fellas in the league? We talking about Ben Simmons, don't want to play for the minute. We talking about Zion, he don't feel like playing. We talk about, the stuff that Ja is creating. Wow. What do you think about that as far as today's game, B?
You know what? Here's the thing. I'm gonna say no, because I'm looking at Claxton, who is somewhat a South Carolinian also. And he been in the league but just as long as him and Zion they all came in together. Here's my thing. Dude carrying himself in a respectful way. He got a mother and a father presence. Guess what? Ja got the same thing. Guess what? Zion got the same thing. I know they three different individuals, but when you're looking at knucklehead, hard-headed, and all this and that, I think that's a growth period. That's a understanding where you are and whatnot. And you don't see Claxton, you don't see his dad, even though his dad was once in the league for a brief stint, but you don't see his dad looking for no more limelight, looking for no more television time. But you see Ja dad doing it. So Ja dad essentially became more of a friend. And then you don't see Zion people, but to me, Zion is just I think that's a personal thing. Some things he got to accept going on with inside of him. Some things he got to look at. You got to get tough. It's a different toughness in this game it's not playground or high school toughness. It's, you know, just because I got a couple of aches and bruises, if I'm walking, I'm able to play. You know, what they say is a difference. It's a difference in hurt and an injury. If you hurt, you can play. Or I can't remember. I might be saying it wrong, but if you hurt, you can play. If you're injured, then you know you kind of expected to sit out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a difference, and I think he got to dig down. I'm pretty sure when you look at, you know, and I say right there in the 80s, those guys played with a lot of ailments, but, you know, we can never really tell because everybody suited up, you know, and I heard Magic saying something with this load management thing, and the load management to me gives them a way out and whatnot. But we went to the games back in the day in hopes of seeing our stars, the people that we were looking up to. We went to see, hoping that we were going to see them play, get on the floor, because that was our only chance. With kids now not getting to experience that because Zion may not feel like it or he's hurt. So to me, at all costs, he got to do whatever it takes to get on the floor. And the job, whether he wants to admit it or not, and whatever he want to put it on, he got to grow up. So I just think it's an individual thing. Now, you gotta check yourself and you gotta look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, it's that time. You know whatnot. So we're expected to perform when we go on our jobs every day. And we're not making millions. They expect us to come in as professionals. Let's go to work.
Right. What you think about that play, Meg? What's your thoughts? Same question. Kind of rounded around. What's your thoughts?
I mean, I think Bear hit all the major the parts of it. I mean, I don't know if I can really add anything to what he said. I mean, I think part of it is we have expectations of these men based off of the type of men that we are. We're like, you know, hey, we got to go to work. It's job, you know, you got a job, you got to go to work. You got to feed your family. You got to do what you got to do. And I think that it's hard for us to kind of look at these guys and say, you know, what are you doing? Because we're not built like that, and they're not built like us. So it's very confusing to us. But I agree with everything Bear said.
Your thoughts, Ron, round it off with the young athletes and the success and the issues. What's your thoughts?
You get to play a game that at the level that you're at, you're elite at doing. And it's your dream to be there because you couldn't have created that reality without dreaming it, right? When you get there, the one thing I give Kobe credit for, because I'm not a big Kobe fan, but what he did to my man Shaq, that's a whole nother different story. He left everything on the court. When it was over, said and done, he didn't have any doubts or any questions. I love AI. AI is one of my favorite basketball players of all time, but he didn't play the right way. He didn't play winning basketball. But you know what he did every night? He left it on the court. I'm going to give you, I love to go and see a guy that's going to give me his best effort. And that's what I want to see out of the players within reason. Playing hurt doesn't make sense. But, I mean, playing injured doesn't make sense. But if you hurt, you're a little bit hurt, and you can make it through a game, play, man. Like you say, you got to think about it. The average fan right now, it's man, $110, $115 a ticket. So if you paying that type of money, man, to go see a kid or see a team play, you want to see that star.
Right. Quinn, what's your thoughts? You get the last word in the subject matter. We're gonna wrap it up, guys. Your thought, Quinn?
I think I'll say y'all putting too much pressure on a kid who was 1 year out of college. Now, granted, I think I was 3 years out of college. I think y'all still put too much. Y'all put unrealistic expectations on him. Is what I'm saying. I'm older than Zion. Y'all put y'all expectations of players who were years into their career, along with maybe 2-3 years of college, and y'all putting that on a 23-year-old.
Well, I can't. I'm not gonna respond to it. Man, I'm gonna let you respond to that one. Then we got because I was gonna. Man, you always find a way to keep the conversation going, sir. But man, I'm gonna let you respond to that one.
I'm gonna just say one thing and I'm done. The man signed. I don't even know how much he signed for. What, a $200 million contract? Too much pressure. Pressure is.
Hey, listen.
I'm
gonna say.
I tell you what.
All right, could I say this, Bear? Could I say this, Bear?
Go ahead.
You can't get to be that elite without putting pressure on yourself.
Can I jump in there? Can I jump in there? I agree with Quint. And the reason why I agree with him, like I said before, is we're holding these guys to our standard, which is a different standard than that is out there today. We all know that the men that our fathers and grandfathers are different than the type of men that we grew up with, and the group that's out there now are different than what we are. So we it's hard to hold someone else to a higher standard if that is not the standard of that generation. That generation has a different standard than we have.
Playmaker, and this is the show that I don't normally say these things. I'm on the show, but I call bullshit. I call it now because at the end of the day, and quit. Hold up, Bell. Hold up. I'm gonna grab this in. Only thing we asking this man to do is come to work. We're not asking him to do nothing else. Quinn, if you got a job in the mall and say leave.
Actually, you are asking to do more. You are asking to do more.
I'm asking for show up and come to play. Come to work.
Now see, now you already actually. First it was okay, show up. Now if
Zion shows up. If you get a job at Lids and they say you got to come to work Monday, your job is to show up and come to work.
Yeah, now here's the difference between there's a fundamental difference between working in a mall and playing in the NBA. There's a fundamental
work is work.
The difference is if Zion shows up to work and he's not feeling himself, guess what? Not only is he going to mess up his future money, if he does something out of character, he can mess up his career with an injury. We went through this with Simone Biles when she didn't want to be in the Olympics, and people jumped on her for it.
Go ahead, man. What you gonna say?
First of all, you're right. You cannot take a mall job compared to an NBA job. But being that, and nothing to brag about, but what shocked me off my feet was the way the NBA execs start think, and they actually think like this. So if you come to practice and you put 2.5 hours in, and we're just talking about practice, you still got 5.5 hours left of work. So if you got a charity event that maybe is going to take 4 hours, you still owe them 1.5 hours worth of work. So it's just not limited to practice in a basketball game. They want everything in between. They want all of that. But besides that, it's not about my expectation. It's about like this life. It's life. What I had on my paper was, and one thing, people might find it comical, but I showed this to my son one time. He was talking about, oh, it's hard out here. And I started laughing because he wanted easy. And I showed him Dusty Rhodes on YouTube talking about hard times. That's what Zion got to go look at. He got to go look up that and hear about hard times. Kids today, the sad thing about it is they want the microwave food when the microwave food ain't what's good for you. They want everything handed to them, shoved down their throat. It's not good for them. And at the end, Zion got to put his big boy drawers on, and he got to man up.
Your thoughts, Ron?
Zion's a hell of a ball player. I just know this. He was heavier with Coach K, but he played. So if he was heavier with Coach Play, he played. Then something what Duke staff did to manage him or help him, because like what we're not even really realizing. Do you know Pablo Barcaro, the #1 draft pick, has a condition that causes him to sweat and almost got daggone be dehydrated during games? Yeah, still, when he played at daggone Duke, he didn't have much of an issue. They made sure he was hydrated. You never seen him lay out of a game. The same thing with Zion. They got Kyrie back off with a broken foot. It sounds like they train the staff better than the NBA's. So
Yeah.
what are we saying? The kid should be playing better if he can. And the one thing I know about this, man, I love football. To get paid for it was a dream. He should be thankful, but I understand also that he has a different standard of living. And I respect it. But it's a lot of effort put on the front end to be who he is.
Last word,
Legacy.
playmaker.
Legacy.
I still stick by my guns. I know it's not popular. But I do
You're
think
popular with me. You're popular with me.
I think even if you look at the game of basketball, back when Bird was playing, there was no such thing as load management. Now everybody do load management. There was no such thing as sitting out because of mental health. Now everybody can sit out for mental health. The players in the game have changed. We grew up on that standard of Magic, of the flu game of Michael Jordan, but everybody's not built like Jordan. Everybody's not playing in the 90s. We got to change our expectations, because these players nowadays and the game nowadays is just different.
And that's the last word, ladies and gentlemen. Over the Top Podcast. And like always, the playoffs coming. May your next move be the game changer, guys. Much love. Peace.